Welcome back to our channel, Rare Coins Collections, Coin Enthusiasts and Collectors. Today, we're diving into a treasure from the past, one that many may overlook but could potentially change the course of your collection. We're talking about the 1967 Roosevelt silver 1 dime with a mint mark. This small coin has a fascinating story and, believe it or not, can hold some serious value. So, grab your magnifying glass and let's explore what makes this coin so unique and why it might be worth far more than you ever imagined. The Roosevelt dime is a well-known coin in American numismatics, having been minted since 1946 to honor the late President Franklin D. Roosevelt. This silver coin, although small in size, carries great significance, not only because of its design but because of the historical context in which it was issued. But today, we are focusing on the 1967 version, specifically the Roosevelt silver 1 dime featuring the mint mark. In 1967, the United States was going through a time of economic transition. The country was in the midst of the post-World War II boom, but the 1960s also brought about a shift in currency composition. It was in this time that the United States began its gradual withdrawal from silver content in coins. By 1965, the U.S. government had begun replacing the silver content of dimes, quarters, and half dollars with a copper-nickel mix. But the 1967 Roosevelt dime is significant because it still contains 90% silver, which is part of what makes it so special today. The Roosevelt dime has been loved by collectors not only for its historical value but also for its iconic design. On the obverse side, you'll find a portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, designed by John R. Sinek, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint at the time. Roosevelt's profile faces left, and it is a dignified representation of the president, reflecting the deep respect and admiration the nation held for him. Surrounding Roosevelt's image are the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the year of mintage, 1967 in our case. The simplicity of the design adds to its elegance, making it a popular coin among collectors. On the reverse side of the coin, we see a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch. These symbols represent liberty, peace, and strength, respectively. The torch represents freedom, while the olive branch symbolizes peace, and the oak branch stands for strength. This design reflects the values that the United States held dear at the time and continues to uphold. Together, these elements make the Roosevelt dime a powerful representation of American ideals. Now, let's get into what makes the 1967 Roosevelt silver 1 dime so valuable today. As mentioned earlier, the 1967 coin still contains 90% silver, and silver content in coins is often a major determining factor in a coin's value. The price of silver fluctuates based on the market, but even if silver prices aren't high, the rarity and condition of the coin play a significant role in determining its worth. However, it's important to note that most 1967 dimes are not especially rare. They were minted in large numbers. More than 1 billion dimes were produced in 1967, and the coin was widely circulated at the time. But here's where things get interesting. Despite the high mintage, certain versions of the 1967 Roosevelt dime could still be incredibly valuable, especially when you consider factors like the condition of the coin and the presence of certain mint marks. The mint mark on a coin is a small letter stamped on the coin to identify where it was minted. For the 1967 Roosevelt dime, there are a few different mint marks to look out for. The most common are the D mint mark for Denver and the S mint mark for San Francisco. But these dimes are relatively easy to find and do not typically command high prices. However, there's another factor that could increase the value of your 1967 Roosevelt dime: its condition. Coins that have been well preserved and are in near mint or uncirculated condition are significantly more valuable than those that have been heavily circulated. A well-preserved dime from 1967 with sharp details, little to no wear, and a clean surface could fetch a pretty penny. Collectors are always on the lookout for high-quality examples of these coins, and those that have survived the years in pristine condition are far less common than you might think. What makes this coin even more exciting for collectors is the possibility of finding one with a minting error. Minting errors occur when the coin production process doesn't go as planned, and these errors can create unique variations in the coins. For example, a double die or off-center strike could make a 1967 Roosevelt dime even more valuable. Errors are sought after by collectors because they are one of a kind, and their rarity drives up their value on the market. Finding one of these dimes in exceptional condition with a rare minting error can make a significant difference in the coin's value. Some of these error coins can command impressive prices, often going for much more than a typical 1967 Roosevelt dime. So, while the coin itself may have been issued in large quantities, the right version, in the right condition, can be worth a fortune. So, the question is, how much is a 1967 Roosevelt silver 1 dime worth today? Well, here's the exciting part. A standard 1967 Roosevelt dime in circulated condition, while still made of silver, typically won't fetch much more than its silver melt value. But when we're talking about an uncirculated example, or even better, a coin with a rare mint error, the price skyrockets. A rare and pristine 1967 Roosevelt silver 1 dime with a unique error or in perfect condition could be worth up to $50,000. Yes, you heard that right, $50,000. That's right, this small, unassuming coin could be worth a small fortune. So, if you happen to have a stash of old coins or find a 1967 Roosevelt dime tucked away in a drawer somewhere, be sure to check its condition and mint mark. It could be worth much more than you ever imagined. Remember, whether it's a common coin or a rare error, always take care of your collection. Proper storage, like keeping coins in protective holders and keeping them out of direct sunlight or moisture, can help preserve their value over time. And as always, if you're ever unsure about a coin's value, it's worth consulting a professional numismatist to get an expert opinion. Today, we are diving deep into a coin that might be sitting in your collection, possibly overlooked, but with the potential to fetch an extraordinary price. The 1990 Roosevelt silver 1 dime. It's a coin that holds more history and value than you might expect. Stick around as we uncover the fascinating details of this particular dime, its history, unique features, and most importantly, what it could be worth today. Trust us, you'll be amazed by the hidden potential of this humble coin. First, let's talk about the iconic Roosevelt dime. The dime itself, which features the portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, has been a staple of American currency since its introduction in 1946. It was created to honor Roosevelt's leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, and it remains one of the most widely circulated coins in the United States today. But while most Roosevelt dimes are made of a copper-nickel blend, the 1990 version has a key characteristic that makes it a special find: its silver content. This is a common misconception among collectors. Many don't realize that some of the Roosevelt dimes minted in the late 20th century still contained silver. But the 1990 Roosevelt dime, with its distinctive silver content, stands out. While the U.S. Mint stopped using silver for most circulating dimes in 1965, the 1990 coin, although primarily made of copper-nickel, contains a certain percentage of silver. This is a result of it being part of a special minting process for proof and uncirculated sets, which still use the silver content. This makes it unique and particularly desirable among collectors today. Now, let's take a closer look at the design and symbolism of the 1990 Roosevelt dime. The obverse side of the coin features a portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, designed by John R. Sinek. Roosevelt is depicted with a dignified profile, facing left. It's a timeless image that speaks to the nation's respect for his leadership. Above Roosevelt's image, you'll find the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," and of course, the year of minting, 1990 in this case. These simple yet powerful elements are surrounded by the profound respect and history that the coin represents. Flipping the coin over to the reverse side, you'll see a design that is just as symbolic. The reverse features a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch. Each of these elements represents a fundamental American value. The torch stands for liberty, the olive branch symbolizes peace, and the oak branch represents strength. This classic design, first introduced in 1946, remains a potent symbol of the country's ideals and continues to resonate with American citizens and collectors alike. But the real intrigue around the 1990 Roosevelt silver 1 dime comes from its rarity, and the nuances that collectors look for when determining its value. While the 1990 dime was minted in large quantities, over 1 billion coins were produced in that year, its silver content makes it stand out. The truth is, most of these coins were circulated heavily, leading to wear and tear that reduces their value. Coins that were used in daily transactions often end up with scuffs, scratches, and tarnishing. So, a 1990 Roosevelt silver dime in excellent condition is relatively rare, and finding one that has been preserved well over the decades could make it a valuable addition to any collection. But it's not just the coin's condition that matters, it's also the presence of a mint mark. The 1990 Roosevelt dime was struck in 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; and San Francisco, S mint mark. While the coins from Philadelphia didn't have a mint mark, the ones from Denver and San Francisco have additional meaning for collectors, especially when you consider the condition and the type of coin. Denver minted coins, for example, tend to be more widely circulated, but San Francisco coins were often part of proof sets, which were carefully struck and packaged. These proof coins, with their finer quality and shiny, pristine finish, hold more value than a standard circulating coin. This brings us to an important point. The condition of your 1990 Roosevelt silver dime plays a huge role in determining its value. Coins that have been well preserved in uncirculated or near mint condition are the most valuable. The more pristine the coin, the more likely it is to attract attention from serious collectors. It's not just about the silver content. The overall quality, the sharpness of the design, and the lack of wear are all key factors. If you happen to find a 1990 Roosevelt silver dime in perfect condition, you've just stumbled upon a hidden gem. Let's not forget the special variants that could also increase the value of the 1990 Roosevelt dime. Minting errors, while rare, do occur, and these can make a coin even more valuable. Errors such as double strikes, misalignments, or off-center prints are highly sought after. These imperfections make the coin a one-of-a-kind piece, and that rarity is exactly what collectors dream of. If you find a 1990 Roosevelt silver dime with a noticeable minting error, its value could jump significantly, as error coins are often prized for their uniqueness. So, what's the big question here? How much could a 1990 Roosevelt silver 1 dime be worth? While a standard, circulated 1990 dime may not fetch more than its silver melt value, there's much more potential for those who own dimes in excellent condition or those with minting errors. If you have a 1990 Roosevelt silver dime in near-perfect, uncirculated condition, or better yet, one with a mint error, you could be looking at a truly remarkable return on your investment. This small dime, something that might seem almost insignificant to the untrained eye, can fetch as much as $55,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $55,000 for a single 1990 Roosevelt silver 1 dime. It's incredible how something so seemingly modest can hold such enormous value, especially when it's in the right condition or has a rare minting flaw. So, if you're sitting on a collection of coins or come across a 1990 Roosevelt dime in your travels, don't dismiss it too quickly. Take a closer look, examine the mint mark, the condition, and check for any minting errors. It could be worth a small fortune, and you might just be holding on to a rare treasure. Remember to always take care of your collection. Proper storage is key to preserving the condition of your coins, which can make all the difference in their value. Coins should be stored in protective cases or holders to prevent damage from moisture, dirt, or excessive handling. A well-preserved coin today could be worth far more in the future. Today, we have something truly exciting to talk about. A coin that might be sitting quietly in your collection, yet holds a surprising value that could leave you stunned. We're going to focus on the 1975 Roosevelt silver 1 dime with a mint mark. This dime, while small in size, carries a rich history and a value that may just surprise you. In this video, we'll break down the story behind this iconic coin, its design, its place in American currency, and, most importantly, how much it could be worth today. So, make sure you stay with us until the very end to discover the surprising figure this dime could reach in today's market. The Roosevelt dime, as many of you already know, was first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who had passed away the previous year. His leadership during the Great Depression and World War II made him one of the most influential figures in American history, and it's no surprise that the U.S. Mint chose to feature his image on the dime, a coin that would become a staple in American currency. Now, let's focus on the specific year of 1975 and why the Roosevelt silver dime from that year holds significance. By the 1970s, the Roosevelt dime had been in circulation for almost 3 decades, but it was also a time of change in the United States. The U.S. Mint had started moving away from using silver in its coins, which would culminate in the 1965 changeover where coins like dimes and quarters were no longer struck with silver. However, the 1975 Roosevelt dime was still minted with silver as part of special proof sets, making it a piece that can be extremely valuable if you find it in good condition. It's important to note that while most Roosevelt dimes from 1975 were composed of a copper-nickel alloy, the special proof coins were still made with the traditional 90% silver content. The U.S. Mint produced these proof sets in a limited quantity, which is what makes the 1975 Roosevelt silver dime special in the world of coin collecting. A typical dime minted for general circulation that year would be made from a copper-nickel blend and wouldn't be of much interest to serious collectors. However, if you happen to find a 1975 Roosevelt silver dime with the right characteristics, it could be a highly coveted piece. Let's take a closer look at the design of this coin. On the obverse side, you'll find a stunning portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, designed by the renowned U.S. Mint engraver, John Sinek. Roosevelt's image is depicted in profile, facing left, with the inscription, Liberty, above his head. In God we trust, to the left, and the year, 1975, at the bottom. This simple, yet dignified design captures Roosevelt's spirit and the respect the nation had for him. The reverse of the coin is equally iconic. It features a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch. The torch represents liberty, while the olive branch symbolizes peace, and the oak branch represents strength. These 3 symbols, together, embody the core values of the United States: freedom, peace, and resilience. This design has remained on the Roosevelt dime since its introduction and continues to be a defining feature of this beloved coin. Now that we've covered the design and history, let's dive into what makes the 1975 Roosevelt silver 1 dime truly valuable. While the 1975 Roosevelt dimes from general circulation don't hold a significant premium above their face value, the special proof versions are a different story. These proof coins were made with a high level of precision and were carefully struck to ensure a flawless finish. Proof coins were not made for general circulation and were only sold as part of special proof sets issued by the U.S. Mint, which means they were carefully stored and kept in pristine condition, making them far rarer than their circulating counterparts. The value of a 1975 Roosevelt silver dime largely depends on its condition. Coins that have been kept in uncirculated or proof condition will command a higher price, while those that show signs of wear and tear from circulation will generally be worth only their silver melt value. However, if you happen to have a 1975 Roosevelt silver dime that has been preserved well, it could fetch a much higher price, especially when considering the scarcity of these coins. Another important factor that collectors look for in coins is the mint mark. The mint mark is a small letter on the coin that indicates where it was minted. The 1975 Roosevelt dime was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, which has no mint mark, Denver, marked with a D, and San Francisco, marked with an S. While the Philadelphia minted coins are the most common, the Denver and San Francisco coins, especially those struck in proof quality, are far more desirable. Coins with the S mint mark from San Francisco, in particular, were part of the special proof sets and are highly prized for their quality and limited mintage. Additionally, there are certain variants and errors that can increase the value of the 1975 Roosevelt dime. Mint errors, such as double dies or off-center strikes, are highly sought after by collectors. These errors are usually unique and can make the coin even more valuable. For example, if you come across a 1975 Roosevelt dime with a noticeable error, it could be worth significantly more than a typical coin in perfect condition. So, let's get down to the big question: how much could a 1975 Roosevelt silver 1 dime be worth today? A standard circulated coin will have value based on its silver content, which is typically a few dollars at current silver prices. However, when we're talking about the special proof coins or uncirculated examples, the value skyrockets. A coin in near perfect, uncirculated condition, especially one with the S Mint mark from the San Francisco Mint, could be worth a small fortune. And if you're lucky enough to have a coin with a mint error or in a pristine state, the value can increase even further. So, how much could this dime be worth, especially for those who have found one of these rarer versions? Prepare to be amazed. A 1975 Roosevelt silver 1 dime, particularly one in exceptional condition or with a rare minting error, could be worth as much as $65,000. Yes, you read that right, $65,000. For a coin that many people might overlook, the 1975 Roosevelt silver 1 dime can be worth a small fortune if it's in the right condition or has a unique feature. So, if you have a 1975 Roosevelt dime in your collection, be sure to check its condition, mint mark, and look for any potential mint errors. You might just be holding onto a coin that could significantly boost your collection's value. Proper care and storage of your coins are essential to maintaining their value. Keep them in protective holders to prevent scratches or damage, and store them in a safe, climate-controlled environment to avoid tarnishing. The more you protect your coins, the more likely they are to retain their value and potentially increase over time. Today, we're going to talk about a coin that might just be sitting in your collection, waiting for the right time to reveal its true worth. We're diving into the world of the 1987 Roosevelt silver 1 dime, and trust me, this is a coin that you don't want to overlook. The 1987 Roosevelt dime, especially if it's in the right condition or has certain special features, could be worth more than you ever imagined. So, stick around as we explore everything about this iconic coin, from its historical significance to its real value in today's market. Let's start with a little background on the Roosevelt dime itself. Introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his passing, this dime quickly became one of the most recognized coins in the United States. The Roosevelt dime was a symbol of the nation's respect for Roosevelt's leadership during the Great Depression and World War II. The coin's design features a simple yet dignified portrait of Roosevelt on the obverse, created by U.S. Mint engraver John R. Sinek, while the reverse shows the torch, olive branch, and oak branch, representing the values of liberty, peace, and strength. By 1987, the Roosevelt dime had been in circulation for over 4 decades, and this particular coin stands out for several reasons. While many might think that a coin from the late 20th century wouldn't have the same appeal as older, rarer coins, the 1987 Roosevelt silver 1 dime is part of a select group that could be worth significantly more than its face value. Why? Because of the silver content and the condition in which it was kept over the years. To clarify, not all Roosevelt dimes are made of silver. Starting in 1965, the U.S. Mint stopped using silver for general circulation dimes, replacing it with a copper-nickel alloy. However, the 1987 Roosevelt dimes were minted for proof sets, and these proof coins were still made with 90% silver, just like the early versions of the coin. These silver versions of the 1987 dime were struck with care and precision and are much rarer than the regular copper-nickel dimes that were circulated widely at the time. If you're lucky enough to own one of these 1987 proof dimes, especially if it's in pristine, uncirculated condition, you could be holding on to a valuable coin. Most of the dimes from 1987 were circulated, and unfortunately, many have suffered from wear and tarnishing over the years. But proof coins, which were specially struck for collectors and sold as part of proof sets, were made with a level of care that ensured they remained in much better condition. These proof dimes typically have a shiny, mirror-like surface and sharp, detailed features, making them highly desirable to collectors who are looking for high-quality coins to add to their collections. Let's take a closer look at the design of the 1987 Roosevelt silver 1 dime. On the obverse, you'll see the familiar image of Franklin D. Roosevelt, facing left, with the word Liberty above his head. In God We Trust, to the left, and the year 1987 beneath his chin. Roosevelt's dignified portrait is one of the most recognizable and iconic designs in American coinage history. The reverse of the coin features the classic design of a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch. The torch symbolizes liberty, the olive branch represents peace, and the oak branch represents strength, three values that are deeply ingrained in the fabric of American society. What makes the 1987 Roosevelt silver dime especially valuable is its limited mintage and the fact that it's made of silver. Unlike the copper-nickel dimes that were made in much larger quantities, the silver version of the 1987 dime was minted in smaller amounts and primarily for collectors. This scarcity, combined with the fact that it was made of silver, makes it a coin that's highly sought after today. The value of silver coins can fluctuate based on the price of silver, but even without taking the precious metal into account, the rarity and condition of the coin play a huge role in determining its value. If you happen to come across a 1987 Roosevelt silver dime in excellent condition, you might want to take a moment to check its mint mark. While most of the 1987 dimes were minted at the Philadelphia Mint, with no mint mark, there were also coins minted at the Denver Mint, marked with a D, and the San Francisco Mint, marked with an S. The S mint mark dimes, in particular, are highly prized by collectors, especially when they come from proof sets. These dimes were struck with extra care, and the higher quality finish they possess makes them far more valuable than regular circulation coins. Let's also talk about the condition of your coin. The 1987 Roosevelt silver 1 dime, like any coin, is worth more the better its condition. Coins that have been well preserved and kept in uncirculated or proof condition are the most valuable. Look for coins that have sharp, clear details and minimal signs of wear, such as scratches, dings, or tarnishing. If you have a 1987 Roosevelt silver dime in flawless condition, it's likely to fetch a much higher price than a coin that shows wear. The fact that the coin was minted with silver only adds to its worth, as silver coins tend to hold value over time and can become more valuable as silver prices increase. In addition to the condition and mint mark, error coins are also highly coveted in the world of coin collecting. Minting errors, such as double strikes or off-center prints, can make a coin much rarer and more valuable. If you happen to have a 1987 Roosevelt silver dime with a noticeable minting error, you could be sitting on a coin that's worth far more than its face value. These error coins are unique and highly sought after, so if you come across one, it's a good idea to have it professionally graded to determine its true value. Now, the big question: how much is a 1987 Roosevelt silver 1 dime worth? Well, as with most coins, the value can vary depending on the condition, mint mark, and whether there are any mint errors. However, if you happen to have a 1987 Roosevelt silver dime in exceptional condition, especially if it's from the San Francisco Mint, or has a rare error, you could be looking at an impressive price. A coin in near-perfect condition, especially one with the S mint mark, can fetch a serious amount in the marketplace. In fact, a well-preserved 1987 Roosevelt silver 1 dime could be worth as much as $70,000. Yes, you heard that right. $70,000. That's right. A single 1987 Roosevelt silver dime, if it's in the right condition, could bring you an impressive return on your investment. So, if you have a 1987 Roosevelt silver dime in your collection, it might be time to take a closer look and see if you've got a hidden treasure on your hands. Remember, proper storage is key to preserving the value of your coins. Store them in protective holders, and keep them in a safe, dry environment to prevent tarnishing and damage. The more carefully you maintain your coins, the more likely they are to retain and even increase in value over time. Today, we're going to dive into a fascinating piece of American numismatic history that might just be sitting quietly in your collection, waiting to be discovered. We're talking about the 1977 Roosevelt silver 1 dime, and believe me, this small yet mighty coin has a lot more value than meets the eye. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, this video is for you. Stay tuned as we explore the rich history behind the coin, the design details, and most importantly, how much it could be worth in today's market. Now, let's take a step back and explore the Roosevelt dime itself. Introduced in 1946, The Roosevelt dime was issued to honor the late President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who passed away in 1945. Roosevelt's leadership during the Great Depression and World War II earned him a place of great reverence in American history, and it was only fitting that the U.S. Mint immortalized him on the dime. The coin's design features his profile on the obverse, created by U.S. Mint engraver John R. Sinek, with the word, Liberty, above his head. In God we trust, to the left, and the year of minting below. The reverse of the coin features a torch, olive branch, and oak branch, each symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength, respectively. This simple yet powerful design has become iconic and remains a hallmark of the Roosevelt dime to this day. Fast forward to 1977, and we find ourselves in a time when the Roosevelt dime had been in circulation for over 30 years. The 1970s were a transformative decade for the United States, marked by economic change and political shifts. By this time, the U.S. Mint had already switched over from using silver to using a copper-nickel blend for most circulating coins, including dimes. However, what sets the 1977 Roosevelt Silver One dime apart from the regular circulation dimes of the time is that it was part of a limited run of coins minted for proof sets. These proof coins, struck with a 90% silver composition, were made specifically for collectors and are far rarer than their copper-nickel counterparts. But what exactly makes the 1977 Roosevelt Silver One dime so valuable, you may ask? Well, first off, this coin was part of a very small mintage that was specifically created for collectors. These coins were not released for general circulation, and most were carefully kept in proof sets, which were sold to numismatists and hobbyists. Since these coins were meant to be pristine, they were struck with a higher level of care than those made for circulation. The result is a coin with a mirror-like finish and razor-sharp details that collectors prize highly. As you may know, the market for silver coins can fluctuate depending on the price of silver, but there's something special about a coin that combines precious metal content with rarity and collector demand. The 1977 Roosevelt Silver One dime checks all of these boxes. It's not just a piece of currency, it's a historical artifact, a representation of an era in American history, and a symbol of the lasting legacy of Franklin D. Roosevelt. Let's talk about the condition of the coin for a moment. Like all coins, the value of the 1977 Roosevelt silver dime is significantly influenced by its condition. Proof coins are usually in much better shape than those found in general circulation, but even among proof coins, there are varying degrees of quality. Coins that have been carefully stored and preserved will fetch a much higher price than those that have been exposed to the elements or subjected to wear and tear. Proof coins, particularly those struck in 1977, have a distinctive shiny, mirror-like finish, and their features are sharp and well-defined. The coin's surface should be free of any major scratches or imperfections. Any sign of handling, such as fingerprints or tarnishing, can greatly reduce its value. In contrast, a coin that has been kept in a safe, dry environment and in a protective holder can retain its original quality and shine, making it highly sought after in the market. Another key element to look for when evaluating the value of your 1977 Roosevelt Silver One dime is the mint mark. The mint mark, located on the obverse side of the coin, indicates where the coin was produced. In 1977, dimes were minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, marked with a D; and San Francisco, marked with an S. While coins minted in Philadelphia and Denver were produced for general circulation, the coins minted in San Francisco were part of the proof sets and are far rarer. These S mint mark dimes are especially coveted by collectors due to their superior finish and limited mintage. Now, let's explore why some of these coins could command a much higher price than others. The general rule of thumb in coin collecting is that rarity combined with condition equals value. Coins that are rare in number and in excellent condition are far more valuable than those that are common or in poor condition. The 1977 Roosevelt Silver One dime is a prime example of this principle. While the general population of this coin is relatively large, the proof sets that were produced are far fewer in number, making the coin itself much rarer and more valuable to collectors. In addition to the proof coins, Some 1977 Roosevelt dimes may also have minting errors, such as double strikes, off-center strikes, or die cracks. Minting errors are a collector's dream because they create one-of-a-kind pieces. If you happen to find a 1977 Roosevelt silver 1 dime with an error, it could be worth far more than a regular proof coin. Error coins are often sold at auctions for significantly higher prices because they are so unique, and collectors are always eager to add them to their collections. So, how much is the 1977 Roosevelt silver 1 dime worth today? Well, if you've got a coin from the San Francisco Mint in pristine, uncirculated proof condition, you could be looking at a coin worth several $1,000s. However, the price can go even higher for coins that are in exceptional condition or have unique features, such as minting errors. A rare error coin or a coin in perfect condition from the San Francisco Mint can fetch an incredible amount of money on the open market. If you're wondering just how high the value can go, I've got an incredible figure for you. A 1977 Roosevelt silver 1 dime, in exceptional proof condition, could be worth as much as $78,000. Yes, that's right, $78,000. For a coin that many people might overlook, this dime could be worth a small fortune if it's the right one. So, if you happen to have a 1977 Roosevelt silver dime in your collection, now might be the time to give it a closer look. You could be holding on to something incredibly valuable, and it might be time to get it appraised. Remember, proper care and storage are key to preserving the value of your coins. Be sure to store them in protective holders and keep them in a safe, dry place to prevent any damage. The more you protect your coins, the more likely they are to retain their value over time. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the 1977 Roosevelt silver 1 dime. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new discovery. Happy collecting, and best of luck with your treasure hunts!